Open this mofo.
What?
Everybody.
Oh, great! Woo! Look at that!
Gents.
How much drugs are these people on? Or how much are they getting paid to hype up this guy? Hello, Barbies, Kens, theys, and thems. Welcome to Nicole Reacts, a show in which I, Nicole, react to online marketing gurus that I find, that other people help me find, and who find me on the internet. My qualifications for marketing snark and marketing commentary are that I've owned my own marketing company for 16 years. So that means I was doing marketing before that as well. And I've worked with hundreds of clients on marketing strategy and implementation. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to online marketing topics like social media marketing, email marketing, that kind of thing. And I also know a fair bit about related topics. I've done WordPress development for 14 of those 16 years. So I know about website development, search engine optimization, and that kind of thing. So I like to stay in my wheelhouse there. But if someone brings in stuff as part of their marketing, like they bring in their beautiful wife as part of their marketing, they bring in their children as part of their marketing, I will talk about those things as it relates to marketing. And in case you're wondering how to pronounce my last name, it's Wallet. Sometimes people ask me that. So today's person is Frank Kern, and I didn't add this person to the spreadsheet. So thank you, Jessica, as usual, for finding me people I didn't know existed in the internet marketing space. So let's take a look at Frank Kern's website before we watch some of his content. So this is Frank Kern's website. And as you see here, there's an orange button in the middle of the screen. And you can read sign up now probably because it's very big text, but there is text below that in smaller font that says save my seat for the web class. I think that's what it says. And I think there's an exclamation mark at the end of it, but it's really hard for me to read on my screen. So one of my favorite tools when I'm designing stuff is to check the contrast to make sure stuff is readable. And so webaim.org has a contrast checker. I'll link to it in the show notes in case you want to use it. But I thought, like, let's put through white text on a bright orange background and see what that looks like. So as you see here, the contrast ratio is 3.46 to 1. And if we look at the different things that it's supposed to pass, it's passing 2 out of 5. So I thought, okay, well, what if this text was black? Would that be any better? Or is this orange just really hard to work with? So switching that color to black would make it pass 4 out of 5. It makes the contrast ratio 6 to 1 instead of 3 point something to 1. So it doubles the contrast by changing it to black. So you want to make these kind of choices. Obviously, you want your button to stand out, but not at the expense of someone being able to read the text on it. Because a lot of times people talk about, designing for search engines, but when you think about it, search engines are used by people. So if you make choices that help people, search engines theoretically like that better. So on the screen, it says, want to get more customers from the internet, see how our software uses AI and social media to get more leads and customers. Let's scroll down a little bit more and see what else Frank Kern talks about. Our sole focus is on one thing, helping you get more customers from the internet consistently. How we get results. New software uses AI to turn your list into customers. If you want more customers from the internet consistently, we can definitely help. See why this is different and better than anything else you might have tried before. Done for you social media ads. Setting up social media ad campaigns is hard. Setting up good ones is even harder. We'll do it for you and we'll do it for a bargain. Learn more. And then products. You can get 4 complete courses for just $4. I created this special offer hoping you'll really enjoy them and therefore keep doing business with me for years to come. Smiley face. I want to see how the done for you social media ads work and how they're a bargain. Here's how it works. We'll do all the confusing techie stuff for you. We'll make sure your business page is set up right. We'll make sure your ads manager is set up right. We'll create your Facebook pixel and make sure that's set up right. You do nothing during this part. It's super boring and kind of awful unless you like tech stuff. Now, a quick note, if you've seen my videos before, you'll notice that I got a different tree behind me. And it's because they had a photo shoot in my office last week and they bought some fake trees for the occasion and they just left them here. So I think maybe it's a little gift to me. And I am aware that those leaves look a little suspicious, okay? But they're not that, and it is a fake plant. Anyway, so I want to warn you about something, which is that if you do have a marketing company that is setting up Meta Business Suite for you, make sure they are doing it under your account. And here's why I say this, because it's happened to me now 3 times where I get a client and I look on their website, I see they have a pixel, I see that they've been running ads, but when I go under the Facebook account of the owner of the business, there's nothing back there. And what happens is these marketing companies offer to set everything up for you, but they do it under their own stuff. So all the data they've collected, all the audiences, all that stuff that you would want as the business owner is under their company. So this whole like you don't even have to do anything, we'll just do it for you. Be a little bit suspicious of that if you are offered that kind of opportunity, and ask them, are you going to set this up under my account, under my business manager so that I own those assets, or do you set it up under your marketing company? It's a good question. Anyway, let's get back to it. All right. Number 2, we'll craft an ad that attracts the people you want. You'll work with us one-on-one during this part. And by work, I mean answer some questions so we make sure we're doing a good job for you. First, we'll find out exactly who you want. Then we'll find out what they want. Then we'll create an ad that makes them want it from you. We'll do the copy, the image or video, everything. Okay, that's pretty standard. And then we'll build everything for you on your Facebook account. Okay, great. I just didn't get to this part in time. We'll share screens with you. We'll set up the ad. We'll do the targeting, everything. When we're done, it'll be ready for you to take it from there. Plus, we'll record the entire session so you can use it whenever you want to create a new campaign. Okay, that sounds good to me. So, of course, there's a special offer. There's a little countdown timer in the bottom, and I have 1 day, 13 hours, and 8 minutes to act on this. Hey guys, editing Nicole and future Nicole. So I went to this link 3 days later and it is expired. So Frank is true to his word and it indeed did have an expiration. Back to the video. I'm going to click yes, I want this just to see how much this is. All right. So yes, Frank, I want you guys to do it for me. All right. They fill it out. And I'm like, okay, how much does it cost? Okay, it's on the bottom. So you put in your credit card number and on the bottom it says one-on-one campaign jumpstart. I realized that I didn't actually say the price out loud. It's $497. I mean, the offer is expired, but that was the price on the screen. And I'm about to talk about that I charge more than Frank Kern. And it's because Frank Kern is setting up an ad account in a singular ad set. But when I set up a Meta Business Suite, I charge about double what he does. I charge $1,000. And what I do as part of that is I set up the Facebook product catalog if you sell things online. I set up the remarketing pixel if you want me to do that. I set up custom audiences that you can use later. So I really try to really set everything up. And some of that actually involves editing your website because, for example, for the remarketing pixel, there has to be a privacy policy published on your website on every page. Typically, people link that in the footer, but I have to add that page. There also has to be a cookies banner so people can opt out of tracking. Anyway, point being is I charge more, but I also do more. But his price is $497 and my price is $1,000. I think I say that a little later. So just giving you some context because I'm about to talk about it. I charge a little bit more for this service, but I also build audiences. I create lookalike audiences. I install a pixel. I typically have to do things to the website to make sure that the pixel is compliant. So you have to have, for example, a privacy policy on your website, and you also have to have some kind of cookies banner so that you're compliant with Facebook. If you sell any products, you have to have some kind of returns policy that Facebook wants you to link to. They're doing a little bit less than I would do, but they're charging less too. So I think this seems like actually a fair price, in my opinion. Okay, we're back to the main website. I just had to see what the bargain social media ads were. I'm curious about the AI software too, so let me check that out. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna explain to you what's happening here. I just clicked learn more and I thought the button was broken, but what it does is it takes me to the top of the page to this webinar, I guess I'm supposed to sign up for to learn about the software. I wish it would have either gone to another page or warned me it was going to be a webinar sign up so that when I got to here, I was sort of expecting this. I just thought, like I said, that it wasn't working and the page was refreshing and bringing me back to the top. So apparently they want us to do this. Now, if you have a website and you want people to zoom to a specific section of a page, you can basically create what's called I think an anchor link. And you can actually, when someone clicks on whether it's something in your menu or something on your page, you can have it zoom to a specific section of a page. So you can basically link to a certain spot on the page, which can be kind of helpful for some things. So let me scroll back down to where we were. And then resources, we have videos, on-demand classes, a podcast, and articles. Not blog posts, articles, as in stuff that will help you. Enjoy. Okay, well, I think blog posts typically also are things that can help you, but anyway, want to create internet campaigns that sell? You need to read my book, Convert 2.0. Okay, so he's got a book, he's got a podcast. And I thought this section was really funny. It says, obligatory self-aggrandizing statement beside an older photo where I look younger and slimmer than I actually am. Relatable. Relatable, Frank. I'll give you that. Well, that's me, the guy on the left, except that picture is about 8 years old. So I'm older looking and more well-fed looking these days. Anyway, I've been creating winning internet campaigns since 1999. Pretty good ones too. There's no point on drawing on and on about all of that. If you want to know if I'm a good fit for you, have a listen to some podcast episodes, maybe read an article or watch a video. If you find it helpful, we're probably a good match. If not, that's okay too. Great. All right. So far, I don't hate this guy. Let's go look at some of his videos here. I bet we can just watch one of these. Now, what you don't see here, because I'm sharing the tab, is that we have now moved on to a website that is Clickfunnels, frankkernprivate.clickfunnels.com. So that's where these videos are. Oh, funnel hacking live presentation. So I think funnel hacking is the Russell Brunson event. Wearing makeup with Dan Kennedy. Oh, we did a couple videos about Dan Kennedy. I'll link them in the show notes. He was interesting. What the most successful brands are doing. Okay, so we have 3 videos. So this is funnel hacking 2020. I say we watch this one. I think this video is going to be a good one to watch. It's about 28 minutes and it involves a whiteboard. So let's see what Frank Kern has to say at the funnel hacking conference in 2020.
Funnel hacking live. Let me ask you a question. Are you ready to kick off the second half of day number 2? Are you ready to level this thing up?
Hey,
Wait, what are you guys doing?
What's up, man? Dude, we have been working so.
So the guy in the sort of purple hoodie in the middle there who's talking is Russell Brunson. So I think this is a Russell Brunson event, this funnel hacking thing. And also the way that this is starting off where we're supposed to cheer and stuff. I don't know. It's feeling a little culty to me, but.
So hard the last couple of days.
I know, but
we just wanted to sit down and watch some funnel
What do you mean,
flicks.
dude? I was gonna time out. The way that I'm supposed to bring you to the thing.
Just take some popcorn with us.
You have popcorn?
Yeah, I got popcorn.
Why are you dressed in sweats? What?
Yeah, we
Just Lucy,
relax
let's go
What
on
are
the
we-
couch and watch some funnel
we're
flicks.
gonna
Like,
funnel
Lucy,
We're gonna watch
Ty,
funnel flicks?
you guys want to watch some funnel flicks
wanna
with
watch
us?
some funnel flicks?
Oh,
This is smart.
okay.
Let's go.
I guess we're watching funnel flicks.
Come grab a
This is
seat,
awesome.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
thanks for the popcorn.
Loosen your tie a little bit.
Oh, I can relax?
Yeah, just relax.
Oh, heck yeah. Hold on.
Pick at my house now. We have fun
I'm
at my house.
Oh, I'm a stripper show. Hi, hello. It's sexy.
Boom. Okay.
All right. I didn't know. All right. What?
All right. So Devon, have you seen funnel flicks before?
No, not really.
Okay. So it's our own TV channel. It's got the best personal development, marketing, sales, everything you could possibly want. Should we cue it up? You want to watch this?
Cue it up. Absolutely.
All right. Here we go. Ready?
Hey.
The difference between what happens in a store and what happens here is I don't have to have a salesperson. The funnel does the selling for it.
You guys can make a real career out of this with this knowledge.
21 different ways to create a product. Who do I want to serve? Where are those people at?
Focus is power. Every one of these lights represents an entrepreneur or salesperson. The only people in the world that are going to change this world for the better are entrepreneurs and salespeople.
The only people that are going to change this world for the better are entrepreneurs and salespeople. Okay, I think that's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, I think it's a lot ridiculous, right? There's so many helping professions, right? Imagine that you live in a universe where you think that as a marketing or a salesperson, you do more good than an early childhood educator, than a doctor, than somebody who is raising money for worthy causes. There's so many other things that are, I think, impactful and important to society instead of marketing. And I say this as a marketing person. So This self-important attitude going into this is really gross to me. Let's get back to the self-importance here.
All right.
Right?
You guys want to watch the funnel flip?
Yeah.
My
All right,
God.
Dude, what are we gonna watch?
Okay,
Let's look through it.
there's tons of stuff. Should you see what's new?
Yeah, let's see what's
All right,
I'm in.
check it
You got
out.
the munchies and everything.
Here we
This is
go.
awesome.
Oh my God, this skit is so funny. It reminds me of the Magic Bullet infomercial. I don't know if you've ever seen that infomercial, but it's this like whole fake scenario where they have characters who are watching the infomercial. I'll see if I can find it.
Look who's come in.
Good morning, Berman.
God, not so loud. Here, what about a bit of the hair of the dog that bit you?
Oh, he's just kidding, Berman. Go ahead, try it. It's a fruit smoothie.
Morning.
That looks good. Can I have one of those?
Yeah, me too. What kind do you have?
What kind would you like? He's got strawberry and banana.
Got any berries?
Sure, I've got berries. I've got some raspberries. I've got some blueberries. I've got some strawberries. Here you go. Watch this. Little bit of juice. We're not finished yet. Pop in some ice. Pop on the blade. Give it a quick spin. And just watch. It takes about 3, 4, 5 seconds. And look at that. A beautiful mixed berry smoothie in less time than it takes you to say it. Look at that.
Thank you.
What is that, a personal smoothie maker?
Hey, it is if you want it to be.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Was it 10X?
Yeah.
Awesome. Grant Cardone.
That's my favorite course I've ever done.
Love it.
Grant Cardone is my favorite course I've ever done. I'm pausing and saying the things they're saying so that you understand what kind of content we're about to watch
Watch
here.
it.
Yeah.
I've seen this one before.
Oh, yeah, you seen that one. We got to watch that one.
What about?
Ooh, funnelology.
Oh, funnelology. Should we watch that one?
No, let's watch something new. I want a new course.
Oh, Frank Kern.
That's new.
Yeah. Maybe we should
Frank Kern, and they're yelling like, Frank Kern, oh my God.
watch that one.
Let's click it.
About the microphone. It doesn't matter.
Frank, where'd you get your tattoo from? That's awesome. Who did your ink?
So it's the microphone.
I don't know if they hired people who are terrible actors on purpose, but like this is funny.
Gives you the sense of legitimacy that makes it.
Long hair. Did it affect the mic? Like I'm trying to grow my hair out.
It looks really nice.
Thanks, I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
what was your hair routine? What was your products?
Soul glow. But again,
You know how men sit around and talk about hair products all day.
microphone gives the sense of authority.
Amazing girlish figure I have ever seen. What are you doing?
Oh God, Pilates, mostly Pilates. But damn it, look, I'm trying to teach you guys something. Okay.
Pilates
Second,
works. Like that's how you get it. Like man, you're like just
yeah,
wow.
I know. It's a lot of Pilates and yoga, mostly.
Yoga?
Yeah, yoga and Pilates. All right. So the second thing,
If
blazer.
I want to watch like yours, where do I get that, Frank? That's
Watch store.
I need to play.
Yeah, unsuspecting victim.
Okay.
Typically.
Can you hold up?
Yeah.
I'm going to Google that. The watch store.
Okay, so we get the point here, right? Which is that he's trying to teach them something and they're like picking up on all these appearance things versus what he's saying. Let's see how much longer this goes on. I feel like I already get it. I don't need it to go on any longer, but let's see how much longer the Russell Brunson crowd thinks this should
Store
go on.
and just a minute.
Pilates, though. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Pilates.
You spell Pilates.
It's a supplement. Yeah, it's
Pilates
a
is a
supplement.
supplement?
Yeah, it's a fantastic supplement.
I got it. That's
All right. So then
Hey, we're kind of busy. We hold up for just a minute.
all right, I got stuff to do. I got to actually talk to people who got some brains behind it. POL8s, Pilates. Yeah.
Wait. Stop.
Jesus.
Where are you going, Frank? We need you. Frank, what kind of conditioner do you use?
Soul Glow. I done told you,
Oh,
fool.
I thought that was shampoo.
But it was 2 in 1
Where'd you get your ink done?
in the joint.
The joint.
Man, these people ain't got no sense. All right, man, let's get to work here. This is ridiculous.
If he got his ink done in the joint, does that mean he's done prison time? Naive Nicole is asking. If that's
No,
what
the
this means.
smoke. I didn't think Russell was into it. Guess that glaucoma's got to be kept at bay. Okay, boys, open the door. Let's go. Come on,
No.
open this mofo.
What?
Everybody.
Oh, great. Woo.
Gents.
How much drugs are these people on? Or how much are they getting paid to hype up this guy? That's what I'm wondering.
Oh,
You kids.
How y'all doing? Nice to see you too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm supposed to do more than stand here and say thanks. Okay. Gosh. I can't see any of y'all. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. There you are. Hey, y'all. All right. What's happening? Okay, let's see. We got to put the disclaimer up, all right? This is pretty serious. It's very important. Y'all got the disclaimer ready? I can just do it by memory. Okay, there it is. All right. Now, it's important that everybody fully understands the situation at hand. I'm going to talk about selling things on the intranet. I might talk about ways to increase.
It's interesting that they put the disclaimer. It looked like there was a screen that had writing on it that was a disclaimer, but we're not seeing what the disclaimer is. I'll see if it's in the YouTube description maybe after this.
Free sales in your business. I might slip up and say that I've sold a lot of stuff. My results are not typical.
Okay.
The statement about me
Okay, I mean, I think it's important to say that, but I think reading it in a jokey way kind of takes away the meaning of it.
being completely insane is 100% accurate. I actually have honest to God brain damage and am drinking right now as I deliver this speech to you. Nobody in their right mind should listen to me under any circumstances for
This guy's trying way too hard to be cool.
any reason at any time ever. So with all of that said, don't do any of the stuff that I tell you to do. Well, I mean, that be that as it may, thank you. But, you know, the disclaimer, et cetera, you're responsible for your own actions. Okay, let's get started. Are you ready? Okay.
Whiteboard.
Would you like to hear my suggested presentation titles? So they said, will you come to Nashville and speak? And I was like, yes, Nashville. They got country music and liquor. You can't get that. You can't get that anywhere else in America, you know? And so I was like, what do you want me to talk about? And it's just crickets, you know? And I'm like, fellas, anything, like never got a response back from them. So then I started sending
I was invited to speak at this conference and I got no communication from the people organizing it. I don't know. That's not really a good sign to me, but
presentation title suggestions. Do you think I should I share some of the suggestions? All right. Well, the first one was how to convert to extremist Islam in 3 easy steps. And
oh, an Islamophobia joke. So funny.
That one didn't go over very well. And then I was like, well, how about misogyny? The secret to the, what was it? The number one success secret of Hollywood's elite. And that didn't go over.
Oh, misogyny joke. Man, this guy is just hilarious.
Very well either. I know, I thought it was good, you know, whatever. It really appears to be working well for those guys. So I guess we'll talk about selling stuff on the internet. What do you say? All right. So I've already used up 3 minutes and 20 seconds of my allotted 28 minutes. I better get to work here.
Okay, so just so you know, we're at the 7-minute, 15-second mark of the 32-minute YouTube video.
Better get jiggy with it. All right, so I'm going to try to condense 20 years into however long we got here. We'll be making a lot of generalizations, thus the disclaimers, etc. So thing number 1, we all kind of look alike as marketers. And here's what I mean by this. If you go to the Facebooks or to the Instagrams or even to your YouTubes and you start looking at everybody's posts, you'll notice they all kind of blend together. They got the big headline, the talking head, and then the subtitles and stuff. And sometimes there's some graphics in there. Can you dig it? You seen it? They all look together, right? So what's happening right now is the world is becoming blind to our kind. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. How about that? That's the only time I'm going to say something cool and get away with it like that. So here's the deal. I was messing around. I was doing a little bit of research, and the advertising agency Ogilvy and Mather made this discovery, and they called it something like influencer blindness. And they had this big, long series of tests and everything. And they found out that hot diggity, everybody looks exactly like in terms of the content presented. And they even did this slide in their presentation. You can actually, if you go to your Google machine there and type in Ogilvy and Mather slide share, you'll find it. But they had a slide in the presentation where they had all these different influencer posts, and it said, can you spot the difference between these posts? And quite frankly, the answer was no, right? It was not. You couldn't spot it. So the question used to be like, how can I get attention? And now the question is not only how can I get attention, but how can I stand out and be different? So I'll tell you a secret, quote unquote, this worked extremely well for me 20 years running. Number one, and again, see disclaimer, all right? So this is my personal experience. No one's going to make any money under any circumstances ever. There is a 100% mortality rate among people who listen to me, all right? So this is true. That is factually accurate, okay?
So I just looked for the slideshow that he referenced, Ogilvy and Mather slideshow in Google, and nothing's pulling up. So I tried adding the word influencer to it, and again, that doesn't work. If I find the slideshow he's referring to, I'll link to it in the show notes. But it is interesting to note that this was filmed in 2020, and here we are in 2024, and at the beginning of 2024 anyway, and we see that influencer culture is really waning, in particular because, you know, we're in an economic recession, and a lot of times these people feel very out of touch to us. Like, it's not normal to receive a package every single day. It's not normal to, you know, buy new clothes or to stock your fridge in an aesthetic way by having all these different containers that you pour things into or put things into, that a lot of us just don't have a whole freezer just for different kinds of ice. Like, there's just a lot of things about influencer culture that I think a lot of us don't relate to anymore. And a lot of us have increasingly less spending money to spend on these kind of things. I will say that the decline of the influencer that he's talking about here is, as we see, you know, coming true more and more as time goes on.
In my opinion, in my experience, our income is directly proportional to the amount of goodwill that we've got with our audience. All right, so if you take nothing from me, take that. So the way this ties back to you selling more stuff on the...
I know at the beginning he said this was going to be overly simplified. I would say that this view is overly simplified because I think we all know of creators who have really good content, and maybe they even have an okay sized audience, but they're not necessarily making a full-time or even a part-time living off of their creations, right? Like, I think we can all think of people like that. And then we can think of these giant influencers who don't really do much, who seems to make a lot of money, you know, doing lip syncing videos or whatever. But I would say this is an oversimplification, in my opinion.
The intro net is this. There are two sides of internet marketing. There is before the line. I'm going to spell it properly, before, and then there's behind the line. I'm just going to say BH. Before the line is defined as all the stuff they see before they enter your funnel, before they opt in, before they're in your email sequence and all of that kind of stuff. Now, it used to be that the way to win here, right, because this is where everybody kind of focuses, right? The way to win here behind the line was to make bigger promises, right? I'm going to show you how to get rich in 24 hours. Well, I'm going to show you how to get rich in 23. What was the thing about Mary? Why have 7-minute abs when you can have 6-minute abs or whatever? It was like that, right? So it was louder and louder. It was A, it started, let's make bigger promises. B, let's get louder. So what's happening now is you have so many people here behind the line thinking that the way they're going to differentiate and stand out in a marketplace is to make bigger and bigger claims and bigger promises.
I think a lot of times the reason that people focus on the behind the line stuff is because they feel like it's something they can control. So, for example, if you've opted into our email list, or if you have booked a consultation. I have your contact information. I know what you want. And so I feel like as the company, I have a lot more control over what I do after that point. Whereas before you contact me, I feel like I have much less control over that. So I think a lot of businesses do spend a lot of time on this, like he says, behind the line stuff versus the before the line stuff, because they feel like they have control over it. I feel like it's the same reason that a lot of people, when I talk to them about search engine optimization, a lot of times people want to concentrate it only on their website. They want me to go on there and they want me to make improvements directly on their website versus building their reputation other places online that would help them on their website. It feels less direct. So I kind of understand why businesses would spend their resources, whether it's time or money or both, on the people who are already leads, if that makes sense.
Now, you've probably noticed an unusual amount of disclaimers going on over here. The reason why is you ain't supposed to do that, right? You cannot just go out and blanketly make gigantic promises unless the average consumer who buys your stuff actually achieves the result that you're promising. So if we take that into effect, the question now becomes, well, if I'm not supposed to do that, right? Assuming that every single person who buys your stuff doesn't get the result in the giant promise, which is typically reality, then how do you differentiate? And the answer is what you do before the line, all right? So earlier I said we all look the same to the consumer, right? That I call it influencer blindness. You just go and look at anybody's Instagram feed and they all look the same. Big headline, talking head, semi-motivational, what is it called? Subtitles, transcripts, whatever, the little words at the bottom and stuff like that, everything looks the same. So thing number one, look different. Thing number two is everything you ever put out should do these things. Number one, it should be about them, your audience, all right? Once you realize this, that every single thing you do in your business is about your consumer and with the intention to better their lives dramatically, once you realize this, an enormous amount of pressure can be taken off of you because it means you don't have to look cool, right? So if you're ever worried about, oh man, this dude's got a Lamborghini, I gotta go get a Lamborghini now. Nobody cares about the stupid Lamborghini, right? All they care about is, can this person help me? That's thing number one. Everything you do before the line, this means the content, the ads, and all that kind of stuff, it needs to be about them, and the subset is what they want and how they get it. All right, number two, you need to very deliberately build goodwill. The way you create this, now keep in mind, this is before the line, meaning they have yet to go to your website, right? The way you build this goodwill is here, by showing them in your advertising how to actually get what they want, right? Like, nobody really cares about our life stories. We are not fascinating to anyone really other than ourselves. True. Everybody is interested in themselves. And once we take that as fact, which it is, we can then use it in our marketing. The third thing we need to do is make offers. All right, so if your ad generates goodwill by teaching your prospects how to get what they want while simultaneously making offers, which is now sending them to the behind the line part of the deal, chances are you ain't got to make no claims at all. You can come out on stage and say, listen, you should not be listening to me under any circumstance whatsoever. None of what I'm going to tell you is going to be helpful. You would be better off at home. You'll probably be worse than you were before you started hearing me. And you can actually come out and say that, and people will still listen to you because of the amount of goodwill that you have generated. So obviously my disclaimer is meant to be in fun, but I did it to illustrate that point. There's a movie that caused...
Okay, so the disclaimer at the beginning wasn't real. And I guess it's trying to prove that if there's enough context that you can pretty much say whatever you want and have people listen to it. I don't know if that's like a great lesson or anything. I will say I don't disagree with anything he has on the board here. And if we look back, actually, the person I did last week was, what was his name? I'm forgetting, but I'll link to it in the show notes. And he said that kind of 80% of the sales process happens before someone contacts your company. In that, obviously this is a higher percentage than it ever has been in history, mainly because there is all these ways for people to learn about your company online. You can watch YouTube videos, you can watch short form content, you can read content on a website, you can read reviews. Like there's all this context you can get about a business before you even reach out to them. So like I said, I don't think his approach here is bad. And I do think that marketing is about other people. It's not really about you as the company. I don't disagree with any of this. I'm also curious where this is headed. And also his whole, like, I could tell you some really crazy stuff at the beginning and you're still going to listen to me. I don't know if this is like the lesson that is really useful to most people, but
caused me to start seeing how far I could push the envelope with what could best be described as radically and obnoxiously transparent marketing. And it's a movie called Crazy People, starring Dudley Moore. Has anyone seen that by any chance? It's like 4 people. That's amazing. That's a great movie, by the way. If you're an advertising person like me, watch the movie. I'll summarize it for you real fast. Dudley Moore is an ad executive. He goes crazy and becomes incapable of misleading consumers. So he starts writing these ads that are blatantly and brutally honest. And one of my favorites was Volvo. They're boxy, but safe. And another one was something like, I forgot what it was. It was an ad for Britain or something. It said, go to Britain, forget Paris. Nobody likes the French anyway. And then there was one, which isn't true, by the way. Paris is my favorite city in the world. So I'm with you on that one. And then there was another one for Jaguar. And it said, Jaguar, for men who want words I can't say on stage because I'm contractually obligated not to swear, from women they hardly know. Right. And so the movie goes on and Dudley Moore's like submitting these ads to his executive committees and they're all like, oh, you can't run this. It's never going to sell. But one of them slips into a magazine and then the Volvo sales go through the roof, and then he's committed to an insane asylum. And then he gets the other lunatics to start writing ads as well. And none of them are capable of misleading the public. And the ads keep working. So I saw that and I was like, I wonder if it'll work in real life. So I started, because I sell to businesses and how to increase customer retention and customer value and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I wonder what will happen if I begin sales pitches by saying, listen, this stuff is real hard. And most of you guys listening to this, you're not going to get any results at all. In fact, most people who buy the type of stuff I'm selling don't get any results at all. Kind of like most people who buy the gym equipment don't look like the dude in the gym equipment commercial. I don't know why that is. I mean, obviously I do. I don't know why that is. But yeah, I bought the Coors Light diet plan. It's working great. Real good. It's light. Hardly any calories. I mean, you got to drink like 16 of those things to get full 2,000 calories. So don't judge me, okay? This is all from sugar. I forgot what I was talking about now. I honestly, literally forgot what I was talking about.
I just want to point out the last 30 seconds of this. You have to be a certain kind of person for you to be able to do this and have the audience laugh. But if certain people would say the same thing verbatim, I don't think people would take them seriously. I'll just leave it at that.
I honestly, literally forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so going on to the radical transparency in advertising, so I started using that in the marketing. Like, hey, this is hard, and most people aren't going to make it, and it's just awful, really. And sales increased. And then I got when selling consulting and higher ticket stuff, such as agency services, they would say things like, and this still happens in our company. They'll say, well, what can I expect this to be like? And the answer is usually, well, you're going to go through various stages of disappointment and anger And if you can make it through that, you'll eventually be slightly less dissatisfied than you are now. But you're never going to want to actually pay us. And it works, right?
I mean, I just want good things to happen to me without having to pay for it. So I get it.
And because if you think about it, if you've ever hired an ad agency, that's exactly what the experience is. You know, at first it doesn't work because it never works at first. And then, oh, it's kind of starting to work. And then it starts working. And you're like, man, I wish I didn't have to pay these guys. And so that's just radical transparency in advertising. It works, right? But the reason it works is because of what is done here. If you don't have that bond built with your audience before they go behind the line, before they interact with your sales team or read your copy or whatever, they're going to be like this, right? You're going to be met with the level of skepticism that most consumers have, and most consumers should have, because most marketers believe that the best way to get the sale is to make an even bigger and bolder promise than the other guy, regardless of whether or not it's true, and that's a shame.
It took me a while when I first started my company to figure this out, but I found that it was a lot easier to have conversations with people who were ready to have these conversations instead of trying to convince them that what I did was going to work, that there was just a lot of energy spent trying to do that. And instead, it was better for me to spend my time kind of talking to people who had already thought through and already decided that what I did was valuable. So yeah, this makes sense to me.
Unnecessary. So this is a big secret. All right, that makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying to go super fast because I got 12 minutes and 33 seconds.
Well, maybe if you stop talking about beer and telling jokes, like maybe you could get through more material.
And they gave me 2 cocktails to drink while I'm up here, and I'm not even finished with the first one. All right, so
they gave you 28 minutes to present, and they're giving you 2 cocktails to drink during that time. That seems like an irresponsible amount of alcohol consumption to me.
Let's talk about behind the line now. Cool. It's interesting, by the way, this is a giant crowd, and I can see like barely 3 people because the lights are so bright. It's kind of awesome. It feels like I'm on a webinar. Maybe I should just, put on pajamas and stuff. It sounds great. All right. So here's the deal with most consumers. That was on purpose.
In case you're not watching, he just was walking across the stage, I think to go get his drink, because he remembers he has a drink. I don't know why they didn't put a table next to his whiteboard, but they didn't. So there's a table kind of across the stage. So he's walking across the stage and he just tripped. So that's why he said, oh, I did that on purpose.
That is actually the cool
Okay, and he was going to get his drink.
way to walk across the stage. I read that on a how to walk across the stage and look cool manual. It was an ebook that Russell wrote right after the potato gun thing. And it was a good one.
That must be an inside joke about Russell Brunson and a potato gun. I'm kind of curious, but.
No idea why that went over so well. Do you have any clue why that would have gone over so? Me neither. But hey, I'm glad you like that. All right, so we can hold this to be self-evident. Most people won't. Most people will not opt in. Yeah. Most of the people who opt in will not open the email. Most of the people who open the email will not click. Most of the people who click will not click the order form. Most of the people who fill step 1 of the order form out will not complete the order. Most people won't.
Yeah.
That is normal, right? If most people did, our conversion rates would be over 51%, and we would be the most brilliant people in the history of marketing.
Well, and I've cited this before. There's a pretty big Shopify study. I'll link it in the show notes. I think they do it on a pretty regular basis, but the average shopping cart conversion. So I think they looked at like 2 million websites or whatever. And obviously they're all Shopify sites. So that might be a factor, but the typical conversion rate across these websites was between 1 and 3%. And some industries convert higher than other industries as well. Like, so there's certain kinds of products that are kind of easier to sell, which makes sense when you think about it. There's probably some things that as a consumer, you're like less wary about just buying versus having to think about buying. So yeah, like this whole like 1% conversion thing is why most people chase so hard after getting more traffic to their website, more free traffic to their website. Cause they're like, okay, if I'm selling something to 1 out of every 100 people that visit my website, I got to get more people to visit my website. And that's like a logical conclusion.
They would have gold statues of us made and put on Madison Avenue, right? It's just normal. But for some reason, as marketers, we like to forget that and be like, I can't believe it. I had 123 clicks to the website and nobody bought. It's the end of the world, right? Or 47 people opted in. And
I mean, that's less than a 1% conversion. So at that point, maybe there is something on the website that's preventing them from buying. Maybe if you look, you find that most people get to this one part of the shopping cart where they see that shipping is a $15 flat rate and then they seem to not go through. Okay, well, what if you changed the shipping rate? What if you made there a free shipping option if they ordered above a certain amount, right? That would be something to test. Something that I did with one of my clients the other day is that we were sending traffic to this kind of opt-in form, and the form was really long. So I asked him, I said, hey, is there a way that we can just make this form collect their name, email, and cell phone number? And the rest of this information could be collected as you're talking to them. And so we turned that on and his conversions have doubled. So it could be something like that. So if you sent 120 something people to your website and none of them bought something, that is information I think that you should take into account.
And nobody bought my thing. So let's look at where things can and will inevitably go wrong.
Sure.
And how to fix them real quick. I think that might be helpful. Okay, so let's talk about most of you guys sell info and stuff. Is that roughly accurate? I'm trying to think.
So I contacted the event organizers and they never got back to me on a topic. And now I'm asking a really basic question about the attendees of this conference. Are most people here selling info products? I don't know. Maybe that's something you should have, I guess, talked about before you got there. Unless you're being conversational on purpose. Unless you're saying, hey, like, am I right in that most people are doing info products, Russell? If you want to have a little side conversation with Russell Brunson, I think there's a way of doing it without sounding like you didn't prepare for this.
I think of what type of funnel to use as an example. Info. Okay, we'll just stick with an info funnel. All right, so you got yourself one of them ads. All right. So
I'm trying to think of what funnel I should show these thousands of people right now because I didn't think about this at all beforehand.
that's your ad. Then people opt in. Let's just say, well, let's say it's a book funnel, right? So there's you, smiley face, there's the buy button. And then, of course, you're using Clickfunnels. So you got the two-step order form, which is awesome. And then they either buy or not. And there's OTO1.
By the way, if you want a two-step buying process, you can just make a form on your website. So if there's like a buy button, you send them to a form where it collects all the information, including credit card or PayPal info, or however you want people to pay. The minimum stuff you're going to need in a basic payment form are going to be some kind of address because it's going to check the billing address to the credit card. You're going to need an email address that the receipt is going to be sent to. And obviously, you know, the book costs $20 or something, and then the ability to accept payment somehow. So maybe some kind of processor, like you want to use Stripe for credit card processing, or you want to use PayPal or something like that. You're going to need some kind of field that takes that information from people. And that's pretty much it. And then anything else is optional. Oh, do you want to sign up for my email list? And then they let people check the box and then it gets added to your email list if they do that. Oh, you want to collect, like, what kind of business are you in? Are you in retail? Are you in consulting? Are you in health and wellness business? Like whatever, you can have a little drop down, you know, what type of business they're in. You can collect other information, but that's, you know, those 4 fields of information are the base level of information you need for a payment form. So this whole like, oh, Clickfunnels is so unique because it has this one-page checkout process. Like you can do that with other software. You don't need Clickfunnels to do that.
And then there's OTO2. And then there's OTO 752,000. All right. So let's just start here. Okay. So if we just look at, let's make them opt in first. All right. Let's put an opt in page here for it. If we just look at 1, 2, 3, these components right here. If your stuff isn't working right, there's only a couple things that could be going on. Either they're not clicking on the ad, A, all right, or they're not opting in, B, or they're opting in and they're not going to your sales page, C, or they're going to your sales page and they're not buying. Only possibilities, period, right? Everyone agree?
I mean, yeah, that's a simplified way to look at it, but you could have a goal for your ad, by the way, that isn't clicking through to a page. And actually, we're seeing that in particular on like Meta, that these kind of ads aren't performing as well as they used to. So now what I'm doing with clients, and again, this is the beginning of 2024. So if you watch this later on and you're like, well, they seem to be working fine now, it could be that they've changed. But as of like right now, I'm running a lot of awareness campaigns for people, and I'm running a lot of lead generation ads for people. I'm not trying to get the click through so much. So anyway.
If we take this to be true, then it is no longer rational behavior for us to go, I tried it and it didn't work. No, what happened is you tried it, and one of the 4 things that always go wrong did its job and went wrong. Your job is just to be like, oh, okay, which one of these things was it?
Yeah.
So if you come over here.
And that's why as a marketing person, when something doesn't work right away, I'm not really bothered by it because I'm not expecting it to work right away, because if I knew what was going to work right away without testing, I would be lying on a beach somewhere fanning myself with $1,000 bills. You know what I mean?
Here, and you discover you ain't getting no clicks on the ad. Well, everything from here on out, it might not be broken. You might just need to change the copy in the ad. Pretty simple. It's called.
Yeah. Or maybe, like I said, you ran an ad that was for awareness and not clicks, so you're not getting clicks. Like there's multiple things that could be wrong with the ad besides the content of the ad. It could be it's targeting the wrong audience. It could be that you lowballed how much you're willing to pay for a click and the ad's not showing. Like there's within like you've narrowed down the product problem to the ad. There's multiple things to test with the ad.
Called typing. We all do it. All right. No problem. Let's say you find out they're not opting in. Well, what do? Change the freaking opt-in page. In my experience, by the way, the best converting opt-in pages ever in my career have 2 components, a headline and a button that pops up an opt-in form. I've tested so many different variants. Don't know if it's universally like the best converter ever, but if you're having trouble getting opt-ins, try that layout. Works pretty good. Okay, I think it's called.
Yeah, or like sometimes people see that adding a video explaining like a face-to-face kind of thing helps with conversions. Or people find that the opt-in, like I said, with my client, that giving them less fields of information to fill out makes them more likely to fill it out. So yeah, I mean, making it simple, I think is key, but also, making it so that there's a reason for them to fill it out, I think also is key.
It's called super simple or something in the Clickfunnels thingy. All right, so let's say, now this is where things start to go bad, all right? Let's say you're getting people to opt in and everything's great, but ain't nobody buying here. Now here's where it's really, really easy to jump to conclusions and do a lot of unnecessary work.
It's my pricing or whatever, or let me change my entire page. And he's going to say, don't change your pricing.
It's natural for us to go, well, it's a sales letter. Got to redo the sales letter. Got to redo the page. Probably Clickfunnels' fault. Probably Russell. It's probably not even going. He probably switched out the Stripe account. It's probably going to his Stripe account. Because, they ain't got enough money over there. But the 8 billion people using this platform always make the joke that what they do over there is they secretly have like fights with wadded up hundreds, like where normal people would have snowball fights, they're just throwing bricks of $100 bills at each other. Like, that's what they do. All right. So don't you, that's probably, I would, if I had that kind of money. I wouldn't be here if I had that kind of money. Really. I would be just like absolutely blasted out of my mind. Right. I'd be like
If I had a lot of money, I would be on drugs instead of standing on the stage.
I got Clickfunnels money. Be like, put on your pants. Tell the fat lady to put her pants on. Be like, it's just cold in here. Okay. Oh, look at there. A little.
Are other people drinking too? Like this isn't funny, right? Am I just like taking this too literally or something? This doesn't seem funny to me.
A little inappropriate humor. I tell you what, you people should know better. Okay. Here's the deal. Before you jump to the conclusion here, you need to measure 2 things. Are they opening the email and are they clicking on the link in the email? If they're not, chances are ain't nothing wrong with your sales page. He hasn't switched out his Stripe account yet. Okay, you got to watch him. Okay, but he hasn't done it yet. That just means you got to change your subject line, change your email copy. Now let's say we got them coming here and they ain't buying. How many of you think the most important thing is going to be the headline? Yes or no? I'm setting you up. It's obviously no, right? Otherwise, I'd be like, the most important thing is the headline. It kind of isn't. It's kind of the offer. You know why free plus shipping offers work real good? Because it's a good offer, right? Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying deliberately write horrible headlines. I'm saying if the offer itself is good, then the copy doesn't necessarily have to be spectacular. So the first thing you need to check is this offer something that someone really, really wants, right? And I always use a horribly and morbidly inappropriate example, which I'll use now because I'm that kind of person, which is if I were addressing a group of prisoners that just are at the very tail end of a 20-year sentence and hadn't seen a female in over 20 years, and the thing I had to offer them was a night with Miss America or something, my copy could literally say, which one of you peckerheads wants a night with Miss America? And I think I'd get 100% conversion rate, you know? So it's not always the copy, right? A lot of times it's gonna have to be the offer, okay? So I have yet to swear, by the way. So contractually speaking, I haven't violated anything. Yeah.
So Russell Brunson's really religious. I think that's why there's a no swearing clause, even though he's referred to drugs and drinking and prison inmates and calling them peckerheads. I think all that apparently is in bounds, but apparently him saying the F word or something would put him out of bounds.
Was it just me, or did everybody, just between us now, did everybody have to sign the no swearing clause, or was it just me?
They're all supposed to.
It was everybody, I hope.
Yeah.
Sure it was. Yeah. There's something else in there too. And also, do you guys have mini bars in your room?
I only have 20 something minutes to talk and he keeps doing these asides. You can joke about the information as you're presenting it. You don't have to keep like changing the subject.
No? Okay. All right. I thought for a minute, I was like, they took the damn mini bar out. And I was like, that was actually pretty smart. I would have done the same things. I couldn't blame them. Okay. So here's what you got to do with the emails, all right? And this is what can really make or break everything. So assuming the offer's good and the copy's good, number one thing I always have with my consulting clients is it always comes down to two things. They're either not making enough offers or they ain't following up enough, right? And so if I were to funnel hack everybody here, my guess would be 99.99% of people are not following up enough. So here's what you need to look at. In a follow-up sequence, all right, they opt in, they need to give you money. In the email world, there are only two types of email sequences in existence. One of them is called a click sequence. A click sequence is an email that says, hey, here's a thing, check it out. That could be, hey, here's a new book, go buy it. Or here's a video I made, go watch it. Or thank you for your purchase, go download it. That's it. It's a series of emails getting someone to click something. The second of the only two possible email sequences on the planet is called a countdown sequence. That's a deadline sequence, which is you better get this thing before the deadline expires or ISIS is going to win. All right. And by the way, that copy works great. So not that I've tested it, but they test it constantly. Okay. So let's say we're at the point of opt-in, right? And we're trying to get people to go here. And the thing what's the mechanism we should use to sell our thing? Video sales letter. Okay. Most people say they've opted in and they've got a 3-day sequence saying, go watch my video. And then if the person doesn't buy the video, this is my least favorite word ever. Ask my children. Nurture. They go into the nurture sequence. I nurture my kids fine. I give them cigarettes when they need them and all that. You know, I'm not a bad parent.
I love how we're so worried about swearing, but like this other content, I think, is as problematic as swearing.
Okay, and liquor when they're hungover and all that stuff. This is terrible, right? Like most people, you always remember, most people won't. Okay, so the first thing that most people won't do after they opt in is they ain't going to click on the thing that you want them to click on. I measure how many people click on the books they buy from me. I had to build a 3-day, 2 emails a day, go click on the thing you just bought sequence. So if you got to work that hard to get someone to consume the stuff that they just bought, you really got to work hard to get them to consume content. And so I'm like rambling too much. I literally have 1 minute, so I'm going to do this super fast. But don't worry, I can conceive 4 children in the span of 1 minute because I've done that before. I'm efficient, okay? So.
Okay. His poor wife. Ugh.
Do this instead. Phase 1, opt-in. You send them a series of emails until they click. If they click the thing and do not buy, you put them in a deadline sequence until they buy. If at any point they don't do either of these things, you put them into a new campaign that makes another offer. All of my campaigns follow this framework, every single one of them. Hey, here's the thing. Did you click it? No. Okay, here's the thing. 2 emails a day for 3 days consecutively, just to get them to click. If they click and they don't do what I want them to do, whether it's register or buy, they're in a deadline sequence. Hey, this thing's going away.
How many of you would tolerate 2 emails a day from a company? That seems like a lot. I'm really curious what his unsubscribe rate is, to be honest.
And then if they still haven't bought, they're in next. And next either sells the same thing from a different copy angle, or it sells a new thing. If you keep on bolting those structures together, you will have a big, giant super funnel that sells a lot of stuff. I'm 11, now 12 seconds overdue. Thank you all so much for having me. I appreciate it. My name is Frank. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
All right, so that's Frank Kern. I think he knows what he's talking about. Like that last bit was kind of interesting and it makes sense, right? Like if they're not engaging with your offer, putting them in a new list makes sense rather than continuing to hammer them with this offer that they're clearly not interested in. I always wish these people would get more into content. Like, for example, he talked about rewriting copy. Okay, how do I figure out how to write better copy? You know, what resources or what kinds of things should I be looking for? Should I be doing keyword research? Should I be joining groups that my customers are in online and listening to their pain points and crafting things around that? Should I be interviewing people who didn't buy my product to understand why they didn't buy it so that I can sell it better? Again, like we don't get any tactics, right? We just get these general ideas. And again, I get it. He only has 20 something minutes, but he did have time to tell drug, prison, booze, and sex jokes without any swears. So I don't get why we couldn't have gotten a little bit more specific, but I do think Frank Kern knows what he's talking about. I'm just not sure if I want to watch him talk about it anymore. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content and want to learn more about marketing in this sort of reaction video style, there's a whole Nicole Reacts playlist on the YouTube channel. All the episodes also are on the blog, breakingeveninc.com/blog. You can click on the Nicole Reacts category and see them all there. If you have a guru you want me to react to, you can leave it as a comment on this video. Or if you're more shy, you can use the contact form on my website. I've gotten some great leads from that. So thank you to those who have sent them. Keep them coming. They go into the guru spreadsheet and I eventually will get to them. And then if you want to lightly keep in touch, we have an email newsletter, breakingeveninc.com/newsletter. And you can see past issues to see if it's the kind of thing you like before you sign up, which is great. And if you like this video, I hope you consider sharing it with a friend or family member or just somebody who likes to watch reaction style content. The YouTube algorithm doesn't really know what this channel is. Am I a small business? Am I a commentary reaction channel? Am I a marketing tutorial channel? It has no idea because I produce all of that content. So thank you for helping me get my video out in front of people you think would like it. So again, thank you so much for your time watching. And remember, these gurus will just keep on coming. But the good news is you have a friend, and that's me in the marketing business, who's not afraid to call them on all their bullshit. Take care.